Hello, Pisces, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of March 15th through the 21st. And during that time, we bring in that waning crescent energy from last week, and that's a time of stability and calm, a time for us to really think about how we want to grow, self-reflect on kind of where we've been and what we want to change for the new moon, because that comes up on the 19th this week. So new moons, of course, are about fresh starts, a new beginning, good time to learn a new skill or start a new project, whether that be an inner project or outer. Also make new decisions. We then move into the waxing crescent energy, and that's a time of heightened senses when we can really buckle down and execute those things that we've just started with that new moon. So you can jump right into that new routine or new thing that you've just started. So please keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter. So as always, Pisces, please take what resonates and leave what doesn't for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is you and your loved ones are safe. All right. And that is a new moon in Cancer, which is ours a new moon in Cancer? I'm the worst about keeping track of those things. Almost like I read them and see them, and then I just completely forget it. I don't know why. With astrology, my brain just can't. Oh, it's a lot to remember. Anyway, as I'm shuffling the tarot, my fun weekly reminder, Pisces, is that you watch the universe this week and listen for synchronicities. And these are little things that can help you on your own unique path. This might be, repeating number patterns that you're seeing, like on a receipt and maybe on the clock, or out while you're driving on a license plate. There's a lot of places where you can see those. Sometimes an animal, and this would be like not a pet that you have, but an animal that you don't see every day. And if you see an animal like that, look up its attributes if you don't know them offhand, and apply those attributes to a current situation in your life. There may be I'm trying to think of like I might see a fox and I find out, oh, that there's something going on in my life that I might need to be, what is it? It's kind of a little sneaky like a fox. They can be a little sneaky. So, you just use those attributes in a way and see if that helps you with some situation in your life. Anyway, I will stop babbling about it, but just watch for those synchronicities. That's my fun reminder for you this week. All right, let's get right into this reading. Pisces, March 15th through the 21st. You and your loved ones are safe. Your present energy right now is the Temperance card. So this is our angel of the deck. This is about your consciousness. This is about an inspiration. This is our protector in the deck. If the devil's on one side, this angel's on the other. This is about being very centered and calm. And it's just a card of enlightenment. So there might be something that you are seeking, some sort of enlightenment, but you're trying to seek that calm, balanced feeling in your life right now, and that's never a bad thing. Your current situation is that you're generally very, very happy. This is one of the happiest cards in the deck with the 10 of Cups here. Happy family. You're just in a good place right now. And that could be sometimes when we level up and we're in a happier place, we do start thinking a little bit deeper, thinking about our spiritual life and how the things, spiritual things that we're learning can apply to make our lives happier and to contribute and kind of just keep that going. You kind of look around and you're like, things are good right now. Why? What am I doing right? So sometimes it's not about what you're doing wrong, it's what you're doing right. And it's just about a pat on the back from the universe to keep that up. At the root of your situation this week is the Ace of Wands. So this could be a big yes on something or some new passion, something that's just making you a little bit excited about life this week. And that could be such a range of things. I mean, I in a previous reading, I was trying to come up with that range, and it's just everything. It's different for different people. Where one person is very excited to find a new book, another person is very excited to go fishing. So we all have these different passions and different things that we do that drive us. So, there might be something new that has come up for you and you're like, I didn't even know I would be into this, but I love doing this, whatever this thing is. So that seems to be at the root of your happiness this week, which is very awesome. In your recent past here, as you have had your head down and you've been hard at work here with this Eight of Pentacles, and just working hard at something, and maybe just working hard at work. and you're taking a little breather from that. It could be maybe you got a long weekend or something, and maybe it's just the change in weather. Here we are approaching spring, and sometimes that change in weather, even this the time change I've noticed this week, how much when just changing that 1 hour, I have so much more energy in the evenings now. I'm like, oh, the sun's not down yet. Yay, let's go do things. So just that, it's that new energy of just having light in your evening. I can't wait until I love summer, and I love when we're at the point where it's like 9:20 and we still see the sun. It's my favorite time of the year. There's the long, long days. What is on your mind this week here is the Seven of Wands. So a little bit of feeling like you against the world on some front of your life. Maybe getting a little pushback, maybe something that you are very passionate about that there's some pushback around you on. But I feel like if that's on your mind, maybe it's time to just hold your ground, find your center, and just plant your feet. I mean, it looks like you're working hard, your family's happy. Um, I don't know why you wouldn't just kind of hold your ground on this thing, whatever it is. Looks like you may have a strong opinion, excuse me, about something, but again, turn around and look at all the things that are going right. Hold your ground. So that's the thing that's coming through for that. What is just ahead of you this week is the Six of Swords, which is definitely thinking about moving very calmly into the future with you and your family. And what is that? And again, it could be just repeating some of these things that you feel like what really is working. And maybe you've just fixed something that you didn't feel like was working and it's making you happier. It's got your family happier, and just we're always trying to make those little adjustments. Again, we've got this new moon coming up this week. If it's time to make a little change, a little adjustment just to make your life easier, go ahead and implement that, and just smooth sailing right into the future. In your advice position here is the Nine of Wands. So this definitely has you kind of evaluating and looking back on where you've been. And, again, that doesn't always have to be a negative thing. You can look back and say, you know what, why am I so happy? Right. Let me examine this, and oh, I changed this one big thing. I put these bills on auto pay this month and I'm so much happier about it. Or, I did meal preps this month and my whole family's happy because we weren't spending 2 hours in the kitchen every evening. So it could just be those little tiny things, those little changes that you're making, and you kind of look back and kind of evaluate, why are we in such a good place right now? What are we doing right? And how do we continue to keep doing that? What is beyond your control this week is the Knight of Wands. So this is some action here on the passion front, and look at all these wands. So something that you're feeling pretty passionate about, that you're holding your ground on. If you're getting a little bit of pushback, but you're also evaluating, but you're also taking action. So whatever this is, whatever you're finding that you're newly passionate about, keep moving forward with it. It seems to be working for you. What is your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid? Is the Four of Cups, which is being a little bit disappointed. I hope that you're trying to avoid that, because I don't think that's anyone's secret desires. Yeah, bring me some more disappointment. I feel like, if you're trying to avoid that, you're doing it right. Again, evaluating where you are, where you've been, and where you're going is really a good way to do that. So maybe you're thinking, that's some disappointment from the past. Let's keep avoiding that, because I really enjoy the way things are going right now. In your outcome, Pisces, is the Queen of Swords. So all of this leads you to just really, this look back can turn into something very logical, that it's very, the Queen of Swords has the last and final say on something. She can be very, very decisive, but also, this comes from logic. It makes sense. Her decisions and the words that are coming out of her mouth, that just make sense. So again, if you've made some changes, whether it be, work changes or life changes, whatever things that you've been changing, it makes sense to move forward into the future and take some of those changes with you, because it seems to really be working out for you. What is hidden from you this week is a new journey. So you're kind of just in your spot that you are. This isn't a new thing for you. You're just kind of enjoying kind of the status quo. We're not changing things this week. We might be thinking about changing or just smooth sailing again into the future with kind of a status quo, but not making any big changes or taking on any new responsibilities this week. Let's see what a final message from the Soul Oracle deck for this particular reading, Pisces, which is kind of, I mean, I like it. There's not a lot going on. Sometimes that's just how life is, and I think that's fine. I like a week this week is almost like the one last week. I'm okay with that. Sometimes when there's too many things changing, it's just, oh, it's too much. So just enjoy the weather, enjoy the things that you're passionate about, enjoy your family, and enjoy that you're doing very well right now. All right, final message here for Pisces. Final message. Okay, that does not want to shuffle. This card really wants to make an appearance. So embrace your power. All right, embrace your power here, Queen of Swords. I feel like, yeah, whatever you're doing, just again, enjoy it. Just enjoy it. You might, again, want to look back. What changes have you made recently? Um, because it seems like it's working. And kind of know that, be aware of it. You know, you might have accidentally fallen into this really happy place and not even really realized why. So maybe take that time for evaluation. All right, what does Pisces need to do in the way of self-care? Self-care for Pisces this week. And the card that you get is authenticity. Live life for you, not the audience in your head. I always love that card. Be authentic. You know, be authentic here. When there's something that's kind of you against the world, hold your ground, be authentic, be who you are. You know who that is. Again, look back, evaluate what's working. You might have accidentally falling into something that's working out very well, and just make a note of it so that you continue doing it. So Pisces, thank you so much for being here. I hope there was something in this reading that you can take away and use in a positive way in your own life this week. If you're comfortable sharing, of course, drop me a comment down below, or if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer those for you. Also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe really does help my channel, and I appreciate that so much. So thanks so much, Pisces. Good luck with all of this, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.